What is up with the squad? It's Cess, your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies in the building. I don't know what's happening. Y'all know what's going on. Hey, listen, we was coming up here to tell y'all something else, but we had to tell y'all about what needs to go on right now. Look, they changed the story right in the middle of us telling the story. They changed the story on us. So we had to make some adjustments. But we here now, and we're going to talk about it. Hey, like and share. They both right there. Political Lil, what's up, fam?
What's going on now, Auntie? Every day is something new. Politics always clicking. Don't think it ain't.
every day is something going on. White Wolf, what's good? Okay, you coming in hot. You say Sue. Jackie, what's happening? What's happening? Yolanda Wells say, Angel Sue, don't let Chicago organization tell you what to do. They have no respect for you. All they see is profit, how much revenue you can bring them. They need you. You don't need them. Do y'all think this is just the Chicago Sky? It's the WNBA. Let's get into it. Listen, we got some stuff we want to say, and we're going to get into that, but it's going to be, we're gonna have a flowing conversation, kind of, a little bit. Because I want to know, Lil, before we get into everything that we had on the docket to discuss, because we make dockets around here at Cess Talk Sports. Before we get into what we had on the docket, right off the top, I want to know: do you think this is more the WNBA stepping in, or the Chicago Sky putting their foot down? What leads to Angel's comments today? And maybe we need to enlighten everybody on that. Okay, maybe we should enlighten everybody on that. So let me. Okay, hold on. If y'all don't mind. As Rob the Man Media would say, rewind, select the rewind. Okay, so let me back up. Me and Political Lil been talking about the CBA, Angel, Chicago. I'm not doing this shit no more. All of that, right? We've been talking about that since it happened. And Political Lil always comes at it from a political lens, and I always come at it from a rah. We ain't doing that. I ain't. Okay. Lil was like, it's opportunities here. She could sit. She could sue. This Title VII case, a lot of things going on, right? And we've been watching this really closely. And all of a sudden today, on the same day that ambassador gets to shooting that step back, Angel is on TV talking about, I'm under contract. Did she say she got to make peace or get along? What exactly did she say, Lil? I don't want to misquote. What was that?
I don't know. I can't remember the exact words, but what I can say what it amounted to. It amounted to I need to repair the relationship with Jeff, and then work on falling under the tutelage of
I got it.
The coach, kind of in that sense.
So here we go. Okay, I finally, goodness gracious. Okay, so Jack Maloney, this coming from CBS Sports. WNBA offseason, Angel Reese says she plans to return to Chicago Sky for 2026. Won't request a trade. I thought that was interesting because I thought at one point, okay, maybe you go back and you say, we're going to have to make this work out. We'll figure out how to get a trade and still get me out of here. But and I want y'all to know, me and Political Lil, because we hear about the receipts. So I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see this as I read this quote to y'all. We're not making up stuff. Here we go. So, and I'll take this back down here real quick. But Angel Reese, she's at USA Basketball this weekend in Durham, right? So she's there, and that's another conversation, but we'll talk about that because we in trouble. But based on, they said like Angel Reese is taking part in the training camp with USA Basketball this weekend, and during her media session on Friday, she stated that she will remain with the Chicago Sky despite a tumultuous end to the 2025 WNBA season. I'm under contract. So yes, I plan on returning to the Sky, Reese told reporters during her first interview since September. I'm continuing to talk to Tyler and building that relationship with Jeff and Tyler. She added, referring to Sky head coach Tyler Marsh and general manager Jeff Pagliocca. Reese is under contract through 2027 when the Sky have a team option, but there has been plenty of speculation about her future. We know that she didn't play in the final 4 games. She called for some improvements. She said, "I'm not settling for the same shit we did this year. We got to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I'm willing to want to play with the best, and however, I can help to get the best here. That's what I'm going to do this offseason. So it's going to be very, very important this offseason to make sure we attract the best of the best, because we can't settle for what we have this year. So, those were the comments. And so today, when we get the start of USA basketball, we get I'm under contract. This is what I'm doing. Is that USA basketball? Is that WNBA? Is that Chicago Sky? Lil, your thoughts. 26 in the chat. So hit the like and share. They both right there. Run them up. Hit the share, y'all. Let them know we in here. Tell them come jump in this conversation.
Now I done been in a couple of conversations, a couple of other rooms, when this thing kind of first broke and this, that, and the other. Her comments don't indicate to me that she was considering other options. And here's what I mean. Now, we could sit up here and say she could sit out like fouls. My thing was that I felt she had enough evidence to sue her way out of town under a Title VII violation. Now, everything got a consequence. You all know that, and you don't want, she's got the Olympic team looking forward. She's with USA basketball, and all of these power structures are connected, correct? Okay, now these when these bodies like the WNBA go out and they negotiate these TV deals, broadcast rights, whether they be national, local, and in this case regional, all three. It's with certain people being in certain positions. In other words, Adam Silver made a statement emphatically that this $2.2 billion deal that they got was predicated on Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. He said that out of his own mouth. So Chicago is a huge market. It's one of the main media markets. Okay, you want a star in that market, a superstar. You want a superstar in the LA market. You want a superstar in the New York market. You want marquee stars in certain places in order to make your deal work. Now, if you get in a situation where you're having problems with the player, and it's a possibility the player want to go to a smaller market, or she wind up in a smaller market, this, that, and the other, the people in the Midwest gonna want their money back. And sponsors are going to be pissed off because they got things set up to go up a particular way. You have that pressure. Then you don't know if she was she wants to make the USA team. She wants to make the Olympics. Now, the Olympics are connected to USA basketball, connected to, of course, NCAA, but they're also connected to the WNBA. And so do you want to really take a chance on bucking the system, at this time? Then the third thing is she has sponsorship ambassador deals that may be location sensitive as well. I don't want to pay you $1 million to be in a major market, and then I wind up having to market you from Timbuktu, somewhere in Seattle, this, that, and the other. So compromises have to be made. I made a comment that I didn't think her statement was revolutionary, and of course, everybody attacked me, talking about she moving in silence and she don't need to be revolutionary and blah 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 blah. I don't care how you moving. I'm not big up in no abuser. Simple as that. My statement would have been, yes, I plan on returning to Chicago, and that's pretty much it. I'm not requesting a trade. Currently, I'm returning to Chicago. I am under contract, blah, blah, blah. But I'm rebuilding a relationship with Jeff. I didn't tear that relationship down. I don't have to rebuild shit with you as far as I'm concerned. You need to be on the mic talking about what you're going to rebuild with me. Now, her getting along with the coach, I don't think the coach necessarily did nothing to her. And I wouldn't have had a problem with her saying that I'm going to build a better relationship with the coach and fall under his tutelage or something like that. But that MF and Jeff, no, that really, I don't know. That's just me, because I've been in a situation where I was abused by somebody like Jeff. So it's a little different trigger for me. And I know what I did do. I left my employment as opposed to sit there and I wasn't rolling him down the street, let alone where they was asking me to go and then put me in a life and death situation, which I could have wound up in the war zone had I stayed. So I understand playing politics. I played a lot of politics for 10 years. The military is a power vortex, and it's a life and death game. This ain't no checkers, or I can go sit on with my man and this, that, and the other. When you're in the military, you're under military control, you're in that power vortex, it's serious business. So it's no it's no sitting around. You have to watch how you move. I had to watch how I move because two things waiting for you: jail, being put out with a dishonorable discharge, or you could be put in a situation where you wind up unalive. That's what can happen to you in the military. So I certainly, I understand some compromise, but I'm not rebuilding a relationship with an abuser. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. And however people thought about it, and however they was talking about she don't need to throw her every hand and this, that, and the other. Her hand was out there. She said she won't be requesting a trade, which means she's not going to take an action. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with her returning to Chicago to honor her contract, except for, she still would have had the option to sue, the way I was thinking. But I'm going to rebuild a relationship with an abuser. It's like you going in court and telling somebody, well, I'm going to rebuild the relationship with the rapist. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to say that under no circumstance, because I'm not going to give young women the impression with the influence that she has that it's okay to repair a relationship with an abuser. I just don't believe that. That's just me.
Speak to some of the things. So you saying not rebuild a relationship with an abuser. So for those people who may be new to the conversation, can you shed some light on some of the abuse that took place in Chicago? Some of the things that some of the abuse, some of the things that you standing on business about. And I see y'all in the chat. What's up, MJ? Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, keep us on topic. Let's go. 40 in the chat. Run the likes up. Yeah, let's speak to some of that abuse that took place in Chicago. And remember, Lil is in Chicago, so firsthand they're getting to see some things that we don't necessarily get a chance to see, and we're not privy to. So go ahead, Lil.
First of all, there's an implied requirement in any contract you sign that you be protected as an employee. I'm not talking about a 1099 employee, but I'm talking about an employee, because basketball players in the WNBA are employees. There's contracted employees. So they never protected Angel. Then you running around throwing hit pieces at the girl, doing some old bogus suspensions, then making her do an interview, and you're gonna have the audacity to get mad because she spoke truth to power. These kind of things, this psychological abuse that they put on this young woman and the pressure that they put on her, trying to blame her for the 10 and 34 season and this, that, and the other. When you built a raggedy rock, see, power always protects itself. And then they use the media, which is a propaganda machine, to get out here and abuse Black women because they know they can get away with it. It's as simple as that. But putting this girl in a position where she goes from a champion to the face of a loser, and then I'm gonna rebuild something with you for what? I can work with you. I don't have to rebuild a relationship with you because I didn't break the relationship up. You need to be over here dialing me up. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it because of her influence with young women. And my belief, I don't care what nobody say, you do not, as an influencer with that kind of power and these young women watching you, ever big up your abuser under no circumstance. So that's the only part I had a problem with. I ain't have a problem with her understanding she under contract, she needs to come back, she could only sue her way out or sit her way out. But that part right there just blew me away. And I think she was forced to do it. That's what I believe. I believe that she didn't want to get Kaepernick. So, you know, she did what she had to do. My God. I don't know. So that's the part. This organization has been very disrespectful to that young woman, and they have been unprofessional in how they have handled her. This girl is a major star that has made them plenty of money. They exploited her, and then they used her as the face of exploitation. Do y'all understand that they ran a con on the city of Chicago, a con on the fans? They was in no position to win now. None. Zero. They didn't have a roster. And then you're gonna turn around and make her the face of it, because ain't nobody putting 19,000 seats in the at the United Center coming to see some of them people you had on there. You know, the damn show wasn't coming to see no Kia Nurse and some of them other dudes. They wasn't coming to see those players. Then you accused the young lady of downing her teammates. You let that lady set her up in the press to sit there and say that she was downing her teammates, and then they had to, you know, had them coming out clowning. And well, you know, people say what they want and how she moving and this, that, and the other. But I think she's moving to continue to be in the league, to continue her march towards being on the USA team and to be able to be on the Olympic team. Because if she buck any one of those power systems, just like Flaw J just did, you won't see Flaw J on the Olympic team.
Let me ask you this: Do y'all think Angel's on the Olympic team in 2028?
Yeah, I think she is.
You think Angel's on the team in 2028? At what position?
Small forward.
At the four? At the four? Yeah, so Asia.
Now, I don't know if she'll be starting. I don't know if she'll be starting, but I do think she'll make the team.
And I'm asking this for real because in my mind, I'm like MJ. They still gonna treat her just like she got Kaepernick. I think that Angel Reese made this statement, and I still don't believe they put Angel Reese on Team USA. When I look at that position, when I look at the 4 position in 2028, I expect Asia Wilson to be starting at the 4.
Oh yeah,
now behind Asia, who was at the 4? Nafisa. I expect to see Nafisa at that 4.
Yeah, but I still see her on the team. I mean, that's just me, but because she don't necessarily have to play the 4.
I would love to see her on the team, but I'm talking about the actual construct and the makeup of the team. And then I'm looking at Carol Lawson, and I'm like, oh man, the team is in danger anyway. But that's a conversation for another day. Because
I don't think Carol Lawson gonna wind up coaching that team. I don't see her coaching that team.
Okay,
that's a whole nother story.
There's the other one. Bingo. There's the other one. Stewie on that team in 2028. Why? Because it's in Los Angeles, and she wants her family there. And why not? So I would love to have Angel on the team, but when I look at how that 4 position stacks up, I'm like, I don't know if they will put her there. I think that Angel has a better team of making the 2032 team, but that's just me. That's just me. It's also very, I don't know, curious to me. You say Angel's not a lock. Yeah, I don't know if she's a lock either. It's also very, I don't know, interesting to me, I should say, that Angel had to make this statement the same day, the first day that they got that ambassador shooting that step back 3 on video somewhere. Yeah, you understand? See, I'm watching everything.
Right, because I'm like this, Cess. Your mouth been completely closed all this time. Now your mouth go open. We don't even know if we're gonna have a season. You know, it's a little more to it. You know,
well, you also talked about the fact that it's season ticket sale time too.
Yeah,
season ticket sale time.
Exactly.
So we need to know, you know,
what you doing here.
Listen, like I said, I think that I'm not saying I don't listen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Angel doesn't have a chance of being the USA basketball team. I'm not saying I don't think that Angel should be on the USA basketball team. I'm saying when I think about the historic factor of this Olympics being in Los Angeles, where those players that I said before will be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because
I think season ticket sales for the Sky been slow, and that's why they was like, Angel, get out there and say something.
Or the league,
we didn't forget that you didn't send nobody for the draft lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't forget that you put some virtual walls up at the location place so it could look like we on our way to building a location. Do y'all think Juju Watkins will be a lock, being she from LA? I don't know if she's a lock, Lamar. And I saw your other question too, Lamar. I didn't have an answer for that. I don't know if Juju's a lock. I think that even if Juju's not on the team, Juju will be part of the ambassadorship of what's going on in Los Angeles as a young star in the WNBA or whatever league she ends up in.
When is she coming in 27 or 28?
Here's the thing. You can tell me that Fee Game is not made for the Olympics, but Fee ass was just there. I don't know if Stewie will be retired. And I don't know if I didn't mention AT, so I don't know. I don't know if Stewie will be retired. Stewie talked about how much she enjoyed being at the Olympics with her family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the Olympics gonna have a lot of politics behind it. As far as how they put that team together.
Oh, political. It's political.
Yeah,
political is political. You hear me?
That factors in. So you might get some jaw dropping. Never know.
I mean, and you never know. You know what I'm saying? I would love. So here's my thing. I would love to see the young stars start getting on the team. I would love to see the young stars start getting on the team. The Rakias, the Angels, the Pages, the Jujus, the Sanaya Rivers, right? I would love to see all of these young players start to get on the team. But I don't know. We'll see. We gonna see. We'll see what Sue Bird do. Like I said, Sue Bird, Carol Lawson. We gonna see.
Well, you see, that's another thing. Look at Angel's connection to Sue Bird too. She one of the original members of Together. Mm-hmm. So politics may come into play. But then it's gonna depend on, how the seasons go, how you play in USA basketball. Because, like I said, everybody's game is not made for that. That type of competition. That is a type of competition as well. But I do know
I definitely think Angel could take that AT role and be that toughness and that physicality, especially early in the competition, like with AT. I haven't seen enough respect from the people that I feel like need to respect her to be to be real confident that like she's gonna make that team. But I definitely, I'm glad that she's at the Team USA workouts right now. And they gotta have at least 4 or 5 vets too. I think Point Guard is on that team because then I think she'll be in the running to break the record. I mean, to tie the record for number of Olympics attended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Angel definitely boosts the rebounding and defensive scoring. Defensive rebounding and all of that. I agree. But let's take a deeper dive into kind of what we were going to talk about. And I mean, y'all keep chiming in. Because we can't. We initially came up to talk about just sit or sue, and now we have sit or sue, and now we got this boot on neck back to work situation going on.
Couldn't get the sit and sue out good.
Nah, couldn't get the sit and sue. Ooh, wow, boot on your neck. Get to work. But I still want to take, she could have, we were talking about a potential clean exit. Now there will be nothing clean about this, right? Even to, even the stay, it's hard to get the waters back to, pure blue, right? There's still that taste in your mouth. Because, you want to stay professional, you want to stay respectful, you want to stay brand protective, right? Because she's still very early in her career. And so, as we were talking about on the Baseline Brunch, and I think it was Gamecocks fan that brought up the point, like, sometimes you just want to, you don't want to make a big deal, right? Because it's so much at stake. Here's the thing. Angels changed her tune. But the problem for me is that I don't see the Chicago's change their tune. It's not like the leadership hasn't gotten any better. I don't see any protection. I still believe that there's going to be leaks and dysfunction and a media mess in that city until you see a change, until you see a changing of the guard at the top. So this ain't about the city, and it's not about the fans. This is clearly just about the organization and the decision makers who basically sold out arenas on Angels' back, and now they got their foot on their neck. Like, even though we fumbled the future, we need you to get back in there and do something about it. And if you profiting off this black woman's labor like that, you should have to answer for how you treat her, right? You should have to answer for that. And so we are the court of public opinion. We can't get to nobody else's court, so we're gonna bring it right here to y'all. It's officially in session right here. Cess Talk Sports, Be Wise, Poly Sports, Tea Time, Court of Public Opinion is officially in session. What they say, hear ye. Yeah, bang the gavel. It's officially in session. It's officially in session. It's 52 of y'all in here right now. Hit the like and the share. Y'all the jury. 53. Keep the number going up. Y'all the jury right here. The case, Angel Reese versus Chicago Sky. Now y'all get your whatever your party favors are. Lock in, and we go before we hit the receipts. Formally, let me introduce the co-counsel here. The legal backbone of this broadcast, Political Lil. The reason the front offices keep refreshing their inboxes because Political Lil keep dropping straight knowledge on them. Let's get into it.
Look, let me start by putting it in plain English. You know what happened to Angel Reese in Chicago last season? This bigger than sport talk. You know, and it slides directly into territory of real world legal protections, the kind that cover workers, performers, and public figures. And so we're talking about defamation, discrimination, and good faith obligations and the economic rights of modern athletes. Because when an organization allows narratives to flat harm a player's reputation, workplace instability becomes normalized, when racial code and stereotypes creeping into the media cycle, and when a player's brand is exploited without structural support, that's not just basketball. That's a potential violation of a multiple number of legal frameworks designed to protect people like Angel. So before we step into, giving out the evidence and the receipts, we need to make a decision at the end of this if Angel should sit, sue, or return to work now with a boot on the neck. And let's and this not gossip. This is a mock legal brief that we researched with real life implications. And we don't know the organization's position, so we're just gonna take you all through the trial as if we were making a legal argument and start with the statement of facts.
So, I mean, before we move forward, okay, we seen day after day these folks show Chicago failing Angel in ways that were avoidable, unprofessional, and disrespectful. We watched it. Skipping the draft lottery, leaking narratives, labeling her difficult, profiting off her cultural power without building real structure. All these exhibits, that's what I'm calling them. All these exhibits told the same story: instability, mismanagement, inconsistency. So this is a franchise treating a superstar like a marketing engine and not an asset worth protecting. And that's the issue. So we saw smear tactics, coaching chaos, delayed facilities, roster moves that didn't even make zero competitive sense. For what? You went and bought her in here for what? I'm not gonna say no names. I ain't gonna say no names because we can go down a rabbit hole on that one. That's not background noise, y'all. That's real legal groundwork. Because when we start to stack these facts up, the causes of action start flashing red. These potential causes of action: defamation, discrimination, breach of good faith, negligent misrepresentation, unjust enrichment. Now add in Angel, the reality of Angel, her age, her brand, her visibility, her economic value. Remember, I was the one saying Angel was coming to the league with more followers than the league had. Remember? She had more people on Instagram following her than the WNBA had on their socials. And I know people act like, that's just Instagram, but that's power right now. That's paper right now. And when you think about it like that, the effect that it has on economic value, them failures ain't minor. No, this serious exposure. And this is why sit or sue. That's not clickbait. It was a crossroads for us. We got it. We gonna. There's 5 counts. But before we talk those, we gonna talk remedies, and then we have to name the environment, because this wasn't random chaos. It wasn't accidental. This is systemic, like we've been talking about. So Lil, can you help us understand this piece right here? What exactly made Chicago's front office environment so unstable that it became impossible for Angel to grow professionally?
Well, I think everybody saw the chaos, but the major thing is coaching changes. You had a Hall of Fame coach at Chicago. You had on a 2-year contract, and at the draft, you're telling her and Camilla, this is going to be your coach for a 2-year rebuild in order to stabilize the organization to then prepare them for power. Then you pull her in at the All-Star game and give her all this whiz-bang fantastical on what you gonna do on a facility, except for you turning around trying to get another city, to be the sponsor of the facility. So that kind of damage, losing a coach like that. We all know that Angel was upset about Teresa being fired, and I didn't like the way they did her. And then you, on top of that, you're gonna turn around this year, with all that went on with hit pieces and trying to make her the the cause of your failure to put together a good roster and stuff like that. That's the unprofessional reasons why it's difficult for her to grow. Because you in an environment, instead of having a training facility, this girl got to go pay for somebody to work to improve her game for your benefit. That's a form of exploitation, in my opinion.
So, I mean, when you look at this, is it just bad management, or is it what makes this rise to something legally meaningful?
No, it's not. You have an obligation as an employer. As I explained to y'all before, you have an obligation to protect, to promote, and develop your employees. You just can't bring them in there and kick them around and think that it's okay. That's and then you can't make them a part of a criminal enterprise or a criminal activity you trying to pull off. And you're going out here telling people, you're gonna win now when you know that you didn't have the roster or the capability to even put together a winning roster. That's a form of fraud. But who you making the face of that fraud? Angel Reese. Because it's her face that's selling tickets and her and Camilla. You getting them caught up. If somebody they lucky I didn't buy a ticket last year, because I sure would have filed a consumer fraud and demanded every penny, including that $22 hot dog, back. But you just do not. They fooled everybody. There's no way you could have did a win now, believed you had put together a competitive roster and come out with a 10-34 record. There's no way that's just sitting there. See, you psychologically damaging her by making her a part of that, and then kind of trying to switch the blame on her for not paying it out.
This is a good question from the audience right here. Who's to say Chicago doesn't end up trading Angel anyway? All right, Louis, let's talk about it. With all the anticipated movement from free agency, is this a plausible scenario, or will it be more lucrative to ride Angel till the wheels fall off? Well, depending on what you're going to get back, it depends on what you're going to get back for Angel, right? So let's think about how many people are in the league are moving the seats and the fans like that. Like, you would need to get back somebody that's going, like you said,
sell jerseys.
Yeah, in the United Center.
Sell local and regional TV rights, and sell tickets and bring in sponsors. Okay. Mm-hmm. They didn't come. Jeff didn't bring in Barbie night.
Or Reese's.
I'm saying he didn't. It wasn't because of what Jeff put together as a roster that they were able to go to the United Center. The United Center only seat 25. I think it seats 22 to 25,000 people. But they packed it out. I mean, it was packed over there. That requires a major superstar people want to see. Not Jeff sitting at the scores table, peeping over the coach shoulder. You know, they didn't have that kind of star power. I've been here all my life. They did not have that going on at no time, even during Candace's time. She didn't have the star pool that Reese had. So yeah, they not now they not gonna willingly give her up without a major haul, in my opinion. You know, because they could easily release her, or they could let her what's the little draft thing they do where they let you, I mean, they only protect 5 players.
Yeah.
How many people think they're not gonna protect Angel Reese is really the question. You know,
no, they're gonna protect her. They can't let her walk away for nothing.
Exactly. They want substantial cash or some good picks, probably a few first round picks. They want something to build off of her. You know, I don't think they're just gonna let her walk for free. Because I mean, she's made it clear she coming back and she's not requesting a trade, which means they would have to be the ones that make the move. You know, so that's the
my thing is this. I just don't want you to conform and be like, okay, I'm gonna play the game so that I can move forward, and then they don't move you forward anyway. Then you blackballed anyway. That's what I don't want you to do. I want you to, here, you know what? I take that back. What I want Angel to do is what's in her heart to do. If it's stand 10 toes down and be like, I'm not playing, I'm with you. If it's, hey, you know what, my brand, I feel like if I take this little lesson until 27, and then I blow it up from here. If that's what you want to do, then let's figure out a way how to support you individually through that time. If that's the choice that you want to make, right? I want to be supportive of what it is that she wants to do. I got an opinion about what I would do, but I ain't Angel Reese, and I ain't nowhere near tall as Angel Reese, so I would never be able to make that type of decision, right? And I didn't, they probably would have been blackballed me because of my mouth. But my point is, I want us to be supportive of whatever it is that she wants to do. And I've been hearing this a lot of back and forth and stuff on online. If we really are supporters of Angel Reese, then we just get behind whatever that decision that she and her brand has made. So if that's go back to Chicago, then that's fine. But I don't know if that, what does that mean? What does that look like? Because then it puts the fans in the situation for how do you support? Do we support by watching from home and then just buying her merchandise from her website? Do we support by buying tickets and going into Wintrust and watching the game, when and if these games get back active? What is the best way for us to support Angel if her decision is to return to Chicago and try to, make it work? It just seemed like a hostile work environment for me. It seemed like a hostile work environment for me, and I being with my human resources background just immediately throws red up for hostile work environment. So
yeah, because you don't know that if she returns, she's not gonna be subjected to more abuse. This dude, Jeff. Jeff is from Eastern Europe, and he just got it in for. I gotta have this power. I gotta exercise this power. I gotta be the one in control, and he don't care about how that gets accomplished. And then as a society, we don't seem to care about Black women and them being abused, and having to constantly compromise and, this, that, and the other. But of course, none of us are in the scene or behind the scenes. We don't know. I don't know. I just, I was so thrown off about an announcement. I was just thrown off. Not by I'm under contract. I'm not requesting the trade. I'm returning to Chicago. But that rebuilding the relationship thing, that just blew my mind.
So if there is a lockout, Lil, do you know, or does anybody in the chat know, does that count as, and it would be year 3 of her rookie contract, because Angel's 2 years in now, so it would be year 3 of her rookie contract. I don't know if they lock out for a year, if that actually counts. I'm not clear.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either, how that works in the CBA, but that is an interesting point. Because I'm not seeing a season. I'm not seeing, I think they got, they extended to January or something like that. So they may work something out, but and then I feel like if they don't let the political process play out, they still gonna be doing some lightweight sharecropping with a little more money on top. I don't see no structural changes coming without going to court. And that's just my opinion. So, but I don't know how that would work out. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. She could have just been saying what they wanted her to hear, and not to let them know her every move. But here's the thing: when you say, you just saying what they want to hear, would that be for Team USA? Because then you got to just keep saying what they want to hear till 2028, right? So I don't know if you set yourself up. If you set yourself up for that, because if you say what they want to hear and then go back into the season and then still ask for a trade or sit out or whatever,
you're looking like a liar.
Well, you look like a liar, but they still could come back and it could still be some ramifications for how you are or not on Team USA, right? Excuse me. So it could. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You can listen. Let me tell you something about me. One of the best lessons I learned in my life, and I wish that I would have learned it earlier, was this one right here. I always have to say something back. You can let people say whatever it is that they want to say and still go do whatever the fuck you was going to do anyway. Boy, when I learned that lesson, it changed my life. I don't even have to say nothing back. I let them talk. I was like, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. And then go do whatever it is I was going to do anyway. Man, it was one of the best lessons I learned in my life. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Man, that was so enlightening. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well received. Thank you. Received. And it didn't change. Yeah, it didn't have to change nothing that I was finna go do.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, though, I just don't know if she got enough power to still go do what she want to do. If what she wants to do is be on Team USA and be successful in the WNBA and be able to play for a winner. I don't know. I don't know that she, you know what I'm saying? She said she would talk with Jeff. She didn't say what the final results would be. And I love that. Yeah, we'd go talk with Jeff. I get it. I read the quote, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't know if she has that, if she has enough leverage to be able to get to what it is that she wants to do. And I think that's the most frustrating part of it all. That's the shit that at the end of the day, as a black woman, you're still in the kitchen, like looking like Esther Roll. Damn. You know what I'm saying? You're in there in the good time shit. Because at the end of the day, no matter how talented she is, right? No matter how big a brand she is, if she wants to play in this game, she still has to shrink herself in some type of way to be successful. And that's the shit that pisses us off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nobody else has to do that. Okay, you believe a year would count as a lockout, as a year on the contract. Okay, thank y'all. They need her for the draft when college season is over. Yep. Bring good players to Chicago. But here's the thing. The good players, they not coming to Chicago. The good players have told y'all they're not coming to Chicago, not by choice. So unless you forcing the good players to Chicago, they ain't coming to Chicago. Every good player that they call been like, yeah, no. No thanks. I would never come back. That's what every good player to say. So think about the good players. Because the good players are all empowered, for the most part, to be able to what? Make a decision as a free agent. Because I tell you this, ain't nobody that got none of them good players trying to trade for nothing in Chicago for real. Not they good players. Now they would love to give you something for Camilla to get Camilla out of there. They would love to give you something to get Angel out of there, but they're not gonna give you what they worth. Nobody, no team would. And that's the part that's frustrating. At the end of the day, you still gotta bite your tongue and go make a statement. And I don't know. Y'all tell me, but I think that's where I think the frustration comes.
Yeah, because you're on a platform. You know, you want to play in the league, a certain thing you got to do.
Exactly. And that's it right there. Because every decision that, like you said earlier, has what? A consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play in this league? You want to be a part of this platform? Man, you gotta play by our rules. Our rules say this. You want to do this? Because if you want to do that, you can't do that. You gotta do that shit over there. Not over here with us. You gotta do that over there. On a smaller platform, on a less supported platform. But why is that platform smaller? Why is that platform less? Because we let them convince us that our dollars need to go there instead of where players are empowered and where players want to be. Listen, good players not going to Chicago. They may have had a chance if they had handled Angel's situation better. Listen, let me tell you something, Brian. I hear you, but the good players wasn't going to Chicago when Kai Copper said we can't even get nothing to eat on game day. That good players was like, oh shit. Now, if we was gonna go, it wasn't no facility, it wasn't no practice place.
Raggedy apartments. Raggedy apartments.
Raggedy apartments. We had a shower curtain up at the news brief. Y'all handing out tackies, but
no lockers.
If we could just get a meal on game day, it would be cool. And then when Gabby doubled down, it was like, yeah, Angel, I would love to play with you somewhere else. Oh man, listen.
Because they bringing us in the office, giving us PowerPoint presentations, and we ain't making them no money. Like we hoes on the corner that need to be bringing in a certain tally.
Hey man, they were like turning them slow shoes into. Never mind. Never mind. You know. Do either you see an alternative road for Angel to take to get to where she wants, Olympics, or is her current posture appear the most advantageous? It's the most advantageous if this is what I go. This is the thing. She has to decide what is her brand. Who does she want to be? Does she want to be Colin Kaepernick? Mm-hmm. Does she want to be a successful brand in the WNBA? Does she want to take her ball and go play someplace else? Angel's an owner of a soccer team. She's an owner of she has some equity in Unrivaled. She's been doing Met Gala stuff. She's been doing Victoria's Secret stuff. So Angel just has to decide where is she taking her. I think she's at a crossroads right now. Where is she taking her brand? Is that, I'm going to go back through here and be unapologetically me and fight like hell to pave the way for the next person to be able to come in here and do it more like them than I was able to? Or, is it like, hey, I don't want this fight.
But she got to think about her brand legal obligations too. Her brand deals are predicated on her being in a certain market. Mm-hmm. When she made those deals, so they expected you to be in Chicago. They would probably accept you being in New York or maybe Los Angeles, but they don't want their brand, pumped out of Seattle. Or one of these
if I gave if I signed you as a WNBA player and this ain't a shot on that league, I just don't know if I see you upshot, but now you ride on the bus and it's four games and it's 40 games in these 4 cities and I don't know if my product's gonna move like I wanted them to move
right on that
concentrated
platform.
in that southeastern platform. And that's not a shot on upshot, but they because they trying to build. But that's a great point because you were headed to be a global brand. You was at Paris, you was at Met Gala.
Right, you talking about messing with Chanel and all these people.
You was at Victoria's Secret. You know what I'm saying? Now you playing in the league, ain't even got a TV deal. I don't know, Angel. I don't know. We ain't trying to have mom come out of retirement. This is all the pressure that's on her, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
You understand? Now we got to take out we got to take out a mortgage on the house that we just paid off to make shit move, right? But again, this is the power and the control, right? And the structure of how this is set up to be able to hang her out here like this now. After she's done everything that she should be able to do to be able to make the moves that she wants to be able to make. Hey, I don't want to, I want to be a part of a loser. And y'all really don't want me here. But now you're going to make me be here because you can't get nobody else here. Mm-hmm. Okay. See, my back would get to hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit, man, my back. Oh, my back hurt 2 years.
What's that dude back was hurt until he got traded?
I mean, James Harden put weight on to get out of town. You hear me? So without Angel being in Chicago, ain't crap. I know they lost money during all of this trying to recoup. I mean, yeah, I don't know, y'all.
Money is definitely a factor.
Yeah. Oh, it's the biggest factor. It's the biggest factor, and it ain't Angel's money that's the factor. That's the cold part. It's not Angel's money that's the factor, and I think that's the other piece of this is that if y'all were in a partnership with her, y'all would be figuring out how to collaborate and make this work. The girl had already told y'all what you paid her the first year. She couldn't even pay her rent with that. Okay, couldn't even keep my hair and nails up with that. But compared to what you paid me, how much money did you bring in off my name being associated with your organization? How much
they made profits hand over foot?
And I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not even talking about your $22 hot dogs and your parking and all that. I'm talking about the additional collaborations and partnerships that my name, that my brand, that the people that support me brought into the Chicago Sky. Nobody was watching the Chicago Sky play basketball since, when was the last time they won? When they won? 2021?
Yeah. And they was just getting a little watch then.
So what are we talking about? You say after her third year, can she get out of Chicago? It's a weird old like team option. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I think it's a team option.
It's like we might let you go, we might let you go, we might let you go. We changed our mind. You got to stay. It's like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You think you might be going there like, nah, we decided to go ahead and exercise our option.
We got another win now, Con. We need you to be a part of it. Ooh, Lord.
And I think
she has been through so much, man. My heart goes out to her.
It's also a shot at her brand. It's a shot at her brand because energetically hurt.
Yeah.
And then you put her in a box where
she compromised.
Like where she's compromised. Just to like put her in her place.
Mm-hmm.
Like we go, you think you could be unapologetically you. Oh yeah, they picking that option. They not turning down them me-bounds. They not turning down them me-bounds. Okay, let's see. In my mind, she has another angle. Something else cooking. A big picture reason she would take the stand she did today. Can't wait to see how this unfolds. Ideally to her advantage. I hope so. I hope it's, guess what? I'm going to play in Project B for $2 million. I'm a holler. I don't know what it is. They didn't leave her a choice, but I don't even, it's not even that they didn't want to leave her a choice. She doesn't have a choice. And that's the piece that's hard to swallow, because you're supposed to have a choice in this land of the free, home of the brave. All you ain't got no choice. Get your ass to work. Boot on that. Get to work. Work.
Go where we tell you to go. Play where we say you're gonna play.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, God got Angel. She's a praying young lady. It does not mean that she won't end up having to go through something within the WNBA. I don't doubt any of that. I'm sure that everybody got a plan. But like at the end of the day, there are still just contracts that are in place. That's the piece that has to be negotiated and sue, back hurt, retire. What do you do? What do you do? I want to talk about the defamation a little bit, Lil. And it's not about hurt feelings. These are the lies told publicly that damage the reputation and income. Anonymous sources. We was talking about the hit pieces. The anonymous sources, man. The difficult, the untouchable, diva. That type of strategy. The character hit. That blame shift. It's basically like the front office is got Angel up there, like she's shielding them. You know what I'm saying? Like she protecting them. This is a 22-year-old black female star that y'all using her body to shield y'all from the bullshit that y'all doing. And she taking hit after hit after hit. And once these coded narratives hit the media, they damage the damage multiplies because endorsements hesitate, brands pause, public perception shifts, and that's what she's trying to avoid. But the only way that she can avoid it is if she get in her place. You know, you don't want your future contract discounted. You don't want media coverage to turn hostile. Although I think that she could leverage her Together network to talk about this, but they don't. These words attach, and when they attach to her, the fallout is predictable. Chicago, they didn't shut it down. They didn't correct the record. They didn't protect their player. They participated, and that participation to me is reputational harm for her because it's defamation territory, not vibes, not opinions. And I think that's actionable. And then there's the discrimination. Also, not about feelings. Unequal treatment based on race, gender, or both. And that's where you were talking about that Title VII kicking in the workplace. Different standards, coded discipline, hostile environment. And it's not subtle. It's not debatable. It's definitely not accidental, right? So she was held to a higher standard, a brighter spotlight, and a shorter leash than her peers. They weren't. Her mistakes weren't called rookie or sophomore moment. They was called attitude problems, locker room issue. Frustration wasn't labeled leadership. It was called disruption. That's not analysis. That's racialized and gender coded, and that's the oldest play in the sports book against black women. Stereotype her, isolate her, and then say, "See, she the issue. She the problem. She did it. Look at her. There she go."
Oh wow.
Her. She did it. Right? And they didn't. This isn't just a mismanaged moment. This is weaponized language that tells us to hit black women the hardest. So it's not culture. It's not coaching. It's discrimination dressed up as sports talk. And legally, I think that matters a whole lot. But I think what I need help understanding, and maybe some people in the audience too, is with something called good faith. So explain to other people in this case how Chicago's chaos and its turnover and the lack of support might actually violate that implied promise to operate professionally and protect her career.
See, every contract comes with a implied good faith clause, meaning that you can't just do something that destroys the person and the being or keep them from performing their job. You know, the organization had a responsibility not to promise her they were going to win a championship, not even to promise her they were going to make the playoffs, but they had a implied duty or obligation to put together a competitive team so that you're not producing these 10 and 31, 34 types of outcome. And that it's like it's an implied promise in the contract. It's not specifically written, but it's implied. And they had an obligation to operate professionally and to protect Angel Reese's career. And given what they did to her last year, it was a breach of contract, in my opinion.
So let's also let's break down the win now con a little bit more, because they sold a vision that they didn't deliver, and some people may be like, it's no guarantees in sports, but explain the difference between, we didn't win the championship and they didn't put forth a good faith effort to really win now, right? What was that con? The difference between, hey man, we went out and we didn't win it, to you couldn't win now anyway.
Well, first of all, in order for you to pull off a win now scenario, there are certain things that have to be in place. You first have to have the roster. You can't win nothing now if good players. Chicago 100% new. They didn't have a facility and didn't have the other amenities to even attract quality players to win. So that became a marketing scheme. All they did was extract money from the fan base and wind up unjustly enriching themselves, meaning they made money. Okay, here's the contract between two people. A player has an expectation that the GM gonna put together a solid enough roster to compete and possibly make the playoffs. And so that's your expectation as a player, that each year that I'm here is gonna be a roster put together. And of course, you got injuries and different things that go on, in that scenario. But it's a good faith effort. This dude went to the bargain basement bin and pulled. Now you go to the bargain basement of the department store. That's where
he
he
in the
went.
clearance rack. He ain't
He was on the clearance rack.
He on the clearance of the clearance rack. You understand?
Right, getting money, saving money rather by hyping people up. I give you an example. They talking about the Ariel Atkins move. Now the paper was painting it as some championship move and this, that, and the other. She did not play like it was a championship move. And I don't see how passing up Centron and getting her turned out to be a championship move. The bottom line is, I can make a case that you never had the infrastructure. You don't have a basketball infrastructure in Chicago. The owner, the GM, the operations guy, Nadia, none of these people have the expertise in basketball, even though they have expertise in other arenas in business. You look at the Valks infrastructure. That's an infrastructure built to win, and specifically win in the area of basketball. You got a chick from Live Nation, okay, she know how to sell tickets, and of course she did that. And then you got a GM that didn't even play basketball and coached the 8th grade team, and was some kind of a gym teacher, so-called developer. That they don't have people in place to even give her what she would need to build a championship team around her and Camilla. But they had the marketing entity, marketing them as Twin Towers. When now that was a con. There was no way you could look at that roster and tell me that you were prepared to win now with instability at the coaches. You had a whole new coaching staff just about. I don't think anybody remained from Teresa Weatherspoon coaching staff that I can think of. So yeah, all these new coaches, all that stuff take time to gel. You know, if they had did a 2-year rebuild, then came now with the win now thing, they might could have pulled something off productive. But you can't win now rebuilding every year, So it was negligent misrepresentation to not only the fan base but to her, and then to make her the face of that con like that, I thought that was cruel and unusual punishment, to me.
So let me say this to S Jack real quick. I don't know if you just pulled up or you just wanted to type something. The first thing that one of the first things that I said was, what we want Angel to do is what Angel wants to do. That's what we said. That's what we want Angel to do. What she want to do. And the other thing that we said was, whatever it is that Angel decides to do, we want to support that. Now, after that, we decided to continue to have a conversation about what we would do and what we thought and what we think might be best in this situation. If that's not something that you want to participate in, the beautiful thing about YouTube is you don't have to. You can keep scrolling. But we didn't put who and what we would do on Angel. I was very clear about what Angel should do. Angel should do what makes her happy. And then after that, we decided to continue a conversation. If that bothers you, move around. Now, back to our scheduled discussion. They're not even fit to have established a team. They practicing in a rundown recreation center. And you know what the thing is, the thing is, Louis, is this. It's not even that they practicing in a rundown recreation center. It's that they're practicing in a rundown recreation center for years and years and years and years. And they're practicing in a rundown recreation center after they won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even look like a championship organization. They don't function like a championship organization. Shit. Kim Mulkey went down to LSU, won a natty, and then put $1 million facility on the ground. They haven't been able to put practice facility together. And then the one that they did put together, it's not even going to be ready on time.
Stop. They don't have all the amenities they promised.
With the real estate mogul as the owner. Make it make sense.
A commercial real estate mogul.
Thank you for reminding me of that part.
That should have been the easy part, putting a facility
thank you,
together.
We appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that should have been the first thing. Get a building. Oh man, we're gonna get a building. the commercial real estate person should have came with the building by now. Yeah, we should have been able to see that. Between the sit out and the lawsuit, which path actually would have carried more weight? Because they're not necessarily not available to her now, but they're way less advantageous if that would be a route that she took. So, but in your opinion, between the sit out and the lawsuit, which actually carries more weight when it comes to forcing a clean contract release? And can you walk us through the advantages, the PR power, the narrative control, the brand protection, how lawsuits avoids that quitter narrative, right? It can shift public opinion for Angel.
Well, we all know that sitting out is, that's traditional. We've seen it done where players force their way out simply by not playing or making demands to fix or flip me out of town. So, that's kind of standard. The risk is that, you're going to usually get tortured by a controlled media who they're not going to look at it fairly. They're going to go with whatever ownership have to say in order for them to continue to have access to the team. So with all of the problems that I saw Angel going through, I think she could have took the option of suing her way out. Now this would have been unprecedented because I can't recall a WNBA player going that way, but it would have looked from a public relations standpoint like she was simply defending her rights. She has a right to be treated decently as an employee, and so that would allow the mic to change hands, and it will put the narrative kind of in her basket, and not, she wouldn't be walking away, getting the label of being a quitter or them saying, she was ungrateful, this, that, and the other. And it wouldn't be grounds for the media to, a character assassinate her, even if it was on behalf of the organization. And in my opinion, she'd be standing on business, and it could turn out to be something historic. I think one gives the organization the power up, and I think suing would give her the power up, because I don't know if Chicago would be willing to take it to a lawsuit, because you don't want your dirty laundry out there in public. You don't want to have to come up with emails, all the kind of sneaky stuff y'all was doing behind her back could be, brought forth in discovery, and it could damage your brand either further. But it comes with a risk. Suing comes with a tremendous risk, because they can, in fact, have the power to lead, riding with Chicago. Because white people gonna ride together. They gonna do that always. And so that might put her in a position where she wouldn't be able to play in the league. Then that would cut her off from any, USA basketball, because all of that is connected. So, it would be a tremendous risk. And if she would position herself to sue, she would have to be willing to give up her career in the WNBA. Because in my case, I had to give up my career, So and I'm about it, but that was me. I had been doing that for 10 years, and I didn't want to do 10 more years anyway. But I'm just saying, she may not, want to do that. She's in a very difficult situation. So, she can go back, be quiet, go ahead and play. But that's going to affect her legacy too, because people going to think she cowed down. The opinion going to be that, she cowed down, she buckled under, she got in her place, and then her unapologetic brand, don't look so unapologetic. And it don't look like she going to stand 10 toes down and be a revolutionary soldier, so to speak, because as one person pointed out, you come out revolutionary, and they come after you. But Muhammad Ali was revolutionary. Yeah, it cost him, but not in the long run. Carlos, the brother that stood on the podium, Yeah, they lost their gold medals, but you have to be able at the end of the day to live with yourself. So I thought we was putting this together. Of course, we didn't have part 3 today, but I was for the sue. I was for the sue because you definitely have a right to defend yourself against abuse, unprofessionalism, hostile work environment, and the league got to be ashamed of themselves to allow these franchises. And Chicago has a history. See, when you sue somebody, they look for patterns, especially in a Title VII case. And they have a pattern of just abusing Black women. And for that not to be stopped, you know, it's a shame. Like I said, it go back to how I see young ladies that's looking up to her, looking at her right about now with that statement. You know, that speaking truth to power scenario, I think would have stood more firm with her suing rather than sitting or making a. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with her making a statement, except for that rebuilding with an abuser. I just thought that was my opinion, y'all. You know, I take my head off. I just didn't think it was a good thing for what she means to our people. You know, and you know, she just the way it was said, I just, you know, I mean, you know, you can imply that, you know, if you're going back, relationships are going to be built. For you to come out there and say it as if it was your fault, you know, that's the same scenario they put you under, you know, when they were attacking you, trying to make everything your fault. Then for you to kind of self-make it your fault, like it need to be you rebuilding a relationship instead of saying collectively we will rebuild and move forward, something like that. I don't know, because I don't know who wrote the statement for or whether it just came out top of her head. But so my verdict is I would still sue. Even though everything that went down, you know, what I said today, if I wasn't showing my hand when it did unfold, that would be my thing. I would sue. Because the only thing this gonna do is cause the abuse of Black women to continue. That's my opinion. You know, once you stand down to power, then that foot gonna remain on your neck. So it's gonna be, once you start compromising, it becomes a series of compromises. If you want this, you got to do this. If you want that, you got to do this. You know, merit goes out the window, and then you become a part of a history of people who have compromised to keep their position. I mean, I don't know how great it is to live her life, so I can't say, you know, but that's what I got, Cess. I'm definitely still in the sue category. Mm-mm.
So if a franchise can't safeguard its star, the star has every right to safeguard itself. Did StreamYard cut me off?
Yeah.
Was I cut off for a minute for y'all? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I wasn't really saying too much. But I basically was saying what I basically was saying was this wasn't theater. This analysis, you know what I'm saying? This was a right-based strategy. And you know, she has every legal and ethical right to defend her name, her earning power, her future. But you know, it's going to be how does she want this to play out? If you can't, you know, safeguard your star, you got to safeguard yourself. So I mean, this wasn't drama. This wasn't drama. This was evidence. This was causes of action. This was a pathway forward. They misrepresented the future they sold her, deflected organizational failure on her image, and allowed these coded narratives to kind of circulate. I don't know why my dog's going crazy. But they, held her to a harsher standard than others in the same building, but while profiting from her brand and denying her stability, structure, and support. So, sit or sue still is the option. You know what I mean? But what will she do? I don't think she's playing checkers. It'll definitely be chess. You know what I mean? You expect somebody that trademarks their hate. You know what I'm saying? To have a winning strategy in the end, but I don't know that it won't come with her having to go through some fire first. But Lil, let's go ahead. Let's bring this home.
Well, as always, we appreciate every voice in the mock courtroom that we put together today, and your votes, your comments, your engagement pushed this conversation forward, and we do appreciate it. So, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and, continue to spread the word. That's the most important thing. And don't forget, support Athlete On Brand, support fair coverage of Black women in sports, and tap into our advocacy at respecthergame.online. The work doesn't end with this episode. It continues with all of us. And up next, we're going to come back and talk about the Wave and the Watch episode 2, The Pulse, where we find out why Angel Reese and Shedeur Sanders, the pulse of their leagues, are feared by these leagues and these power structures that they work for.
And y'all let us know on the way out. You know what I'm saying? If you were Angel's advisor for a day, what option would you recommend for her? Are you team sit out? Put a 1 in the chat. Are you team sue? Put a 2 in the chat. If you think she should do both, put a 3 in the chat. Hey, we went way beyond basketball storyline today, y'all. This was a system audit, facts laid out, failures named, legal angles examined, real world impact on a young Black woman inside an unstable franchise made clear. This wasn't about picking sides. It was about truth, receipts over rumors, reality. You vote, sit or sue. You participated in something bigger than one season, one team, one player. Y'all help shape a conversation about power, protection, and accountability in women's sports. What happened in Chicago is a reminder. Athlete empowerment is not a trend. It's a requirement. When organizations benefit from a player's cultural power without providing structural protection, accountability isn't optional. It's inevitable. Tonight showed what the accountability can look like in real time. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be reckless. It can be strategic. It can be intentional. It can be rooted in protecting the dignity, leverage, and future of that athlete. That's the standard, and that's not going away.
Well, thank you all, and make sure y'all come back.
Yeah. So listen, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. It's Cess, your favorite Auntie with Tendencies of Political Lil, the legal and social justice backbone of Poly Sports Tea Time, y'all. Let this be a reminder. Sports, never just about the scores or the highlights, about the systems, narratives, and the real stakes moving beneath the surface. Pulling up, thinking critically with us. Thank y'all for standing on business. Y'all stay tuned. Talk soon. Yeah. Mocha Latte, my bad. Appreciate you on the replay, fam. It's Political Lil, Cess Talk Sports, man. We appreciate y'all. We love the support. Love y'all to life.